Thank you. That's a long song. Thanks, guys. Okapilina Kaua Okapilina Akaua Thanks, guys. This is a long 15 minutes. Thanks, guys. Are we gonna do our song? Yay. Do you guys remember our song?
You're gonna sing it louder for the new folks. I haven't learned it yet, but I'm gonna just sort of be right behind you.
Yes.
Sing
Okay.
it. No, you can sing it. One mic. You can
Okay,
sing it
one
up.
mic,
Yeah.
okay. So
And remember, it's a. We'll say the words again, just for you. Refresher for. It's the share your heart, clear the static away, embrace the vital in your life today, vital living, vital way, and then much mahalo, mahalo, aloha, hey. Simple. Okay.
okay. Share your heart, clear the static away. Embrace the vital in your life today. Vital living, vital way. Mahalo, mahalo, aloha, eh. Share your heart, clear the static away. Embrace the vital in your life today. Vital living, vital way. Mahalo, mahalo, aloha.
One more time. The three's good.
Yeah, 3. Okay, best time. Everyone sing really loud. Share your heart, clear the static away. Embrace the vital in your life today. Vital living, vital way. Mahalo, mahalo, aloha.
Thank you.
job.
And thank you, Kendall.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Um,
You can go this way. Behind.
am I good to unplug?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Hello. Hi. We're live streaming, I think. So that's why we're using the mic. I could probably just talk and you'd all be able to hear me. But for those out there in cyber world or whatever it is, and new people that aren't sure exactly what's happening, I'm going to start doing my little intro and welcome. Thank you, Kendall, so much for that beautiful music. It always just puts us in the right space of mind and heart. And I want to really thank Jason, who came all the way from town to help live stream today, because my husband usually does it. Thanks, Jason Forrester. We're going to appreciate that. And set up the PA and all kinds of things so we could hear beautiful music. My husband is actually Tunji, who's in Virginia right now with his parents. His mother had a little heart condition, and so he flew up, and he's there right now, honoring her space and helping out with dad and mom and doing their thing. So we're fortunate to have many supporters and people to help us along the way here. So welcome to our Vital Living gathering for October. And I always do a little intro about how we came about. So my dear friend Nicole and I created Vital Living a few years ago. And since last December, we've been having gatherings here on the farm. I feel very honored to have made all of them. I can hardly actually believe that, because as most of you know, I'm a midwife. And as a midwife, you're just on call all the time. And I've come right after births and kind of zipped in but I've always made it, and I feel so blessed. And I think that, we've created this, you can shift chairs around if you want, birthday girl. It's a perfect timing. Maybe someone can help Corey get some chairs in the back, the front chairs, or wherever you want to do. Or those are fine too. Great. So October, we have a theme every month, and we have little gatherings on the third Sunday of every month. And this one, the timing, we've been looking for the best timing to see if we could do 4:30 or 4 o'clock. And this time it kind of got in between them. So thank you for those of you who came early, and appreciate that we're all being patient and going with the flow of Hawaiian time. So thank you so much. So Vital Living is a spiritual nonprofit, and it's created for community support and to allow the education of practitioners and individuals for really embracing living vitally. That's the name. And it's based on my naturopathic experience and practitioners practice for 30-something years. I've been working with natural healing, and I feel that the vital force is this force inside of all of us that really allows us to heal. And we can use all kinds of tools and all kinds of resources and people and support, that at the end of the day, it's really this vital energy, this force inside of us, this vitality that keeps us well and allows us to live peacefully and happy lives. So the first gathering in December the theme was the Vis. And I'm going through this all the months because I'm just making sure that I'm not getting dementia, right? So this is why I do this little memory trick every time. I didn't look it up. I actually was like, okay, every month I'm going to remember. So we had since December, and December was the Vis. And the Vis is like the healing power of nature. So it's really the source. It's this beautiful farm. It's this time in this Aina. It's this amazing energy that we can harness along with our vital force to keep us healthy and well. So that's the Vis. And there's lots more to say about it, but that was our December gathering. And then in January, we had change, because it was the beginning of the year. and we allow ourselves to come into transformation and something new. And you can correct me if I actually mess this up, but all my ambassadors are out there, and you can remember as well. So, but January, I believe, was change, and it was transformation and coming into something new in the new year, right? And then with change in February, we really look at balance. Because if you're going into all this newness and you're letting the old go, you need to find that balance, and you don't want to be on a teeter-totter going boom, boom, boom. You want to find that middle place, the place to keep sort of even. So we talked about food, and we talked about lifestyle, and we talked about things to allow yourself to stay in balance more, right? And then once we're more in balance, we can do the process of really nourishing ourselves. So I think that March, April, and May were about nourishing. So March was really about nourishing, and April was about detoxing. And I think we talked about this whole little triad of you got to really nourish yourself so that you can actually detox and clean out and clear out what you need to clear out in your lives. So that was March, April, and then May, because once you're clear and you have space, you can go into rejuvenation, right? And that's what May was about, rejuvenating our lives and bringing in the new and allowing that to really settle into our new being and our new way of being. And then we had June, and I believe that June was flow. And flow, so that once you're into rejuvenation, you can really get in there and flow and be present and move with the flow of life. And sometimes life is a little chaotic. I know this a lot. I don't know about other people here, but we just take deep breaths and we learn more and we become more empowered every day with that flow. So that was June. July, I think people came to the farm and did service, if I'm not mistaken. And we had this great, we had people come, they just saw it on Instagram or something, and they came and they helped us dig the kalo patch, and we have all this great kalo growing now. And it was really great. It was really amazing. And just looking at service in a different way for ourselves and for other people, of the community and the world at large. So that was July. Oh, getting closer here. And then August was expression. That's right. It stayed on the website way too long. It was on there for like extra couple months because I guess we had to express that until Julie, our wonderful new website person, got October up. So we're doing good. But August was about expression. And it was really about how to, your true self, right? Be empowered and then get yourself out there in the world and do what's really true for you. So that was August. And then September. And so September was about discipline because it's school. Well, that's what I think about. And, discipline's a little bit of not hard word, but it's a little harsh for some people because they had childhoods where they got disciplined and they felt like that wasn't the right thing for them or just different things. And we really looked at discipline in a different way because in a lot of the Eastern philosophies and in our lives, we know that we don't get things done and we don't get to move forward sometimes if we don't get a little discipline in our lives. And it doesn't have to be harsh. It can be really loving, self-loving, and really fulfilling. So that was September. That brings us to October, which is this month. And because October is like spooky, spooky Halloween, I guess, we thought of the theme of fear. And it's really interesting because fear and discipline, right? They're kind of, the themes are, I don't know, they have both ways to look at them. Some people are like, why would we want to have a theme of fear? But really, when I was looking more at fear, I actually did a talk on birthing just recently at a chiropractic workshop. Actually, it was a really great empowerment through birth. And we talked a lot about fear because I wrote a book 20 something years ago, I think. It was called Partner Yoga. And one of the axioms in the book was that fear and pain are two of life's greatest teachers. And I was wondering, I was thinking about that and thinking what is fear? And some people, when you ask them, do you have fears? And they're like, oh no, I don't have any fears or whatever it is. And you're like, okay, well, so you're never anxious, never worried, never concerned about anything. And they're like, well, I don't know, maybe a few. And so when we're looking at it, fear and pain, I was thinking, I have a lot of experience, or I have a lot of time I have spent with birth, and I actually have spent a fair amount of time with death as well. And during those two very poignant times in our lives, there's quite a bit of fear that surrounds it in a really an unusual way, I don't know, unique way, I guess. And I was wondering, why would fear be so surrounding in those two, so poignant, and in those two times in our lives? And I really realized that in birth and in death, and obviously every moment of our lives as well, but in birth and death, there's such an amazing opportunity to learn, right? And what are we here for in life if not to learn? So in those times in our lives, we have this opportunity to learn something really, really powerful and really, really deep. And if we don't get it at birth, or we get some of it at birth, we can get it at death, at both ends of the spectrum, and we can get it every day in between as well. So birth and fear. And I just was thinking, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful ambassadors. We have lots of really nice speakers today, and share some interaction. And then at the end, we're actually going to have a little ceremony with burning some paper and burning some fears, if we want to just let them go into the universe. I've had a few friends actually that aren't able to be here, and they said, "Can I text you my fears? Could you burn them for me?" And I said, "I will certainly burn them for you in our little bonfire at the end, and we'll let them go up into the universe." So that's what we're doing at the end. And in between, we have lots of other fun things and interesting things. But I thought I would just start with just a couple one little quote, actually, about fear. And it says, it was about birthing. And Suzanne Arms, a midwife, actually wrote this. And she said, "If we hope to create a nonviolent world where respect and kindness replace fear and hatred, we must begin with how we treat each other at the beginning of life. For that is where our deepest patterns are set. From those roots grow fear and alienation, or love and trust." And that's been my experience with birth. Again, why fear? I think fear exists because pain is real. And I think that things in life are hard. And fear can come, and then it can move through us, right? It doesn't have to get us, it doesn't have to dictate our life. It doesn't have to disempower us or disable us, right? It can empower us and make us courageous, mindfully courageous. It can give us so much mindful courage if we allow it to. So not like, I don't want to say stupid courage, but not like you put your hand on a flame or something and you don't take it off because you want to be courageous. I mean, there are firewalkers, and that's a different thing. But otherwise, it's just, you want to be mindfully courageous. And that is because you love whatever it is so much, the person or the thing or the event or whatever it is, so much that you're going to take the risk to feel everything, the wild range of everything. We're going to just have that courage and be alive. And that's what it is to be alive. So since it's a little fear sometimes gets you a little anxious, we have Dr. Mercy here, who is going to give you a little sample, I think, and has some more on the table. There's a few things on the table over there. There's some fresh juices from the farm, lime and tangerine and coconut water. And then there's a little tea there that we just made. There's some nervines. And she's going to talk about how to, just for a moment, breathe into those nerves and be calm and peaceful. And then we'll go on. Thanks so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you in that live stream world, and you here for joining us at Vital Living October Gathering. Hold it. Sorry. Oh my gosh. She came right after I started, so I didn't say this. So birth and death, this is the birth and death thing. So we have one birthday happening, and then we have some death work happening. So Corey's birthday is today. So we're going to give her a little day, and we'll talk more about it later.
Aloha, I'm Dr. Mercy. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I work with Dr. Lori and have had the honor of seeing some births with her in the past, which has certainly helped me to transform through some of my fear, for sure. It's really cool for me in life right now with my own family. My brother just graduated nursing school and decided to become a hospice nurse. So I've been talking with him almost every day about all these experiences we both have on the ends of the spectrum. So, we all have our different things that we're working through. And one tool that I love to use every single day is herbs. So in this tea is motherwort with rose and chamomile and oat straw. Just those 4. So those are wonderful, calming, nourishing herbs for your nerves. Oat straw, it's like great anti-anxiety, very nourishing, really should be safe for everyone. Motherwort is an herb that they say if you feel you need to be mothered, it's really great for mothers that doing excessive mothering potentially and maybe need some mothering themselves. It's been shown in studies to lower excess heartbeat, arrhythmia stuff, and mild hypertension and calm anxiety. So it's really nice. I just love using the plant medicines. It's like so intuitive. Our bodies just know how to use them. They recognize the herbs that they've been used, by humans for however many millions of years. Um, and what else? So, and you know about chamomile probably, and the rose also has effects on the heart and the nervous system. So, I just wanted to share those few herbs with you. There's so many more, right, from so many different places in the world that we can explore. There is some little packets on the table of mugwort. We have more, so I should be able to make more if everybody wants some. Mugwort, does anyone know what it is, or has anyone tried it before? Awesome. It's been used for millennia as an herb to help, they say, kind of bring you into lucid dreaming or help with prophetic dreams or kind of wake you up in your dreams. And you could just try a little bit if you want. Some people will make, twine out of it or use it kind of as a sage for burning and clearing the space. They say it's very protective. It's used in ceremony. It's an artemisia, so it's similar to wormwood. And both, wormwood and mugwort and like kava can be used for these special times, but you don't want to overuse them because they can be hard on the liver over time. But just used every once in a while, super therapeutic, great for nerves, for calming anxiety. So just a little tidbit today of some herbs. There's more tea if anyone wants more. And the mugwort there, if you decide to take one, you could just drop a donation if that works for you. And yeah, if anyone has questions about herbal medicine or, botanical things or different ways to calm your nervous system, let us know. We can probably help with that. So let's get into some deep introspective meditation stuff. I think it's Pavana. All right.
Could I borrow the capo too?
Thank you so much.
All right. A little bit here. All right. My name is Pavana. I feel super grateful to be here and sharing this evening, to be gathered. Open hearts, sharing space. Thank you, Dr. Lori, for creating this and having me here. And let's just go ahead and close our eyes, settle in, start taking some deep breaths. Sitting tall, if that feels good to you. Maybe rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, letting the heart know that we're in a safe place to feel some vulnerability, some clarity. And I'm going to invite us to rub our hands together too in this moment. Just stoke that inner cellular fire a little bit, that vitality within. Feeling into that infinite potential that lives within our grasp in each moment. And then I'll invite you to place one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Just taking some deep breaths here, lengthening especially our exhale. An elongated exhale helps drop us into the parasympathetic, the rest and relax response. One of our greatest tools when we encounter fear in the field. And so with this theme of fear, we're going to dive back into the birth and death portal, talk about death a little bit. And I invite you to keep with the long, deep breathing. I lost my grandmother, passed in January this year. And so the process of grief and feeling into contemplating death's wisdom and presence of death dancing alongside our lives has been something that's been in my field. And I feel very fortunate to have tools to help regulate my nervous system and process the emotions that arise in the body. And I was feeling called to share one of my favorite meditations with you all today. This practice is called Kirtan Kriya. Kirtan means song, Kriya is action. And it points to the potent power that the ancients knew of our voice, using our voice to carve and rewire our neurotemplates in our brain. And that through song, through utilizing the voice and the breath, we can alter our state. We can come home to homeostasis within ourselves. We can rewrite our stories. This is one of the most clinically researched meditations found in the Kundalini Kriya world to actually slow down and reverse signs of Alzheimer's disease in the brain. And it's one of my favorite practices in regards to death. I'll speak for myself, generally perceive death with a negative connotation. Death can rob us of the feelings of power and control. We can feel fear. We can question our faith. We can feel overwhelmed by the great mystery of it all. And when we begin to bring awareness to death that's so intrinsically entwined with life, we feel the depths of impermanence in each and every moment. And so the more we can welcome and greet the impermanence of life, we can begin to see death as a graduation and a celebration. That's how one of my Hawaiian teachers, Keone Hanale, explains death as celebration and graduation. And one of the most beautiful forms of death that I've come to know in my life is the death of habituation, or the death of habits that no longer serve us. And we can celebrate those moments. So we're going to utilize a mantra, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa represents infinity, Ta is life, Na is death, and Ma, the great mother, is rebirth. And as we chant this mantra, we're going to allow the sensations of impermanence to move through our bodies and give our nervous systems a chance to cozy up to sacred impermanence. So as we chant Sa, we'll touch our pointer finger and thumb together. On Ta, middle finger and thumb. Na, ring finger and thumb. And Ma, pinky finger and thumb. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. We can have our hands resting on our knees. We'll chant out loud, and then we'll whisper, and then we'll chant silently just in our mind, and I'll cue us. And the last thing I wanted to share is there's a visualization that we can also put with this. There's a lot going on. We're chanting, we're moving our hands. We understand why the neuroscience is so potent and powerful. And we can visualize our sound coming in the crown and then projecting out the third eye, like in an L shape. So Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And you can start to visualize like a golden cord, they call it, moving through the brain, connecting the pituitary pineal glands. And I've had some experiences where it can really feel like the divine creative spirit is like flossing with your brain, that there's some string that they're kind of just pulling the junk and the garbage, whatever no longer serves out. So I invite you to visualize that if that's helpful. So we'll get into it now. So we'll start again. Sa, the pointer and thumb touching. Here we go. Sa ta nama. Chant along. Sa ta nama. 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 And whisper, sa ta na 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 sa And silently, internally, holding the visualization. And whisper, sa ta na sa ta na sa ta na sa ta na chant. Saitai namai, 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 saitai namai. Deep inhale. Can interlace your fingers, palms to the heavens, deep stretch up, hold the breath. Can draw the belly, the navel in towards the spine. Hold the posture, exhale. Deep inhale. Calling back home all fragmented parts of self to be loved, to be honored, and exhale. Can push your hands down, combing the fingers through the auric electromagnetic field. Bring your hands back to your heart. Falling back into a natural, loving rhythm with our breath, like waves in the ocean.
Thank you, Pavana. And I'm Carrie. So we are going to move into a little bit of breath. But first, I just want to go into a couple of techniques, just things that you can use in any given moment, really simplified breathwork techniques to bring yourself back to hopefully the place you're in now after that beautiful meditation where you're more centered, more grounded, bringing that calm to the nervous system. And actually, Pavana said it perfectly before. If you don't remember anything else, remember the extended exhale. So when we extend our exhale, we draw it out longer than the inhalation. We automatically send a signal to our nervous system, to our brain, to our body that all is okay. It's the fastest way to actually bring ourselves down in any given moment. But we're going to build on that throughout the process with some other techniques that you can use as well. So I just invite you to very first thing, just let out a big exhale. Don't worry too much about your inhale. And that's the other thing I'd say. Sometimes when you're in a state, you might hear somebody say, take a deep breath. And I don't know about you, but when I'm in that state, right now I'm a little bit nervous. The hardest thing for me to do would be to take a deep breath. It's like hard, right? So in those moments, focus more on your exhale. Let go of that stagnation, let go of that frenetic energy, and rebalance. And from that place of being empty, you can draw the breath in much more easily and much more deeply. So the second thing that I would add to that extended exhale, and this is called the physiological sigh, you can bring in a 2-part inhalation into the belly, into the heart, and then extend that exhale out. So it might look like this, coming through the nose. You can even close your eyes if you want to tune in that way. You can put your hands back on the heart, back on the belly. And don't worry about how deeply the breath comes in right now, but just in your own way, take an inhale into the belly, let that fill into the hand that's resting on the belly. And on top, just another little inhale, bring it into the heart. And on the exhale, and let out a sigh with that. And taking in another deep inhale into the belly. However deep it comes is perfectly fine. Maybe pressing that belly into the hand. Second one on top, into the heart. Ribcage expands out to the sides. Hold it there if you like for a moment. Let it all go. Perfect. Perfect. And then I'm going to introduce you all to kind of a modified or simplified rather version of the Brahma. Am I saying this right? Brahmari Pranayam. Brahmari Pranayam. Thank you. That was. And you might have heard of this called the bumblebee breath. And once again, we use our sound, we use our vocal to help us relax. So the audible sound, the sigh, the vocal cords, that actually helps to send those same signals. So the breath, our voice, a lot of other things tend to contribute to our vagal tone. The vagus nerve is the main connector between that gut-brain connection. It's the major sympathetic nerve in the body, and I won't go too much into science with all of that, but just know that humming, toning, singing, breath, diaphragmatic breath, breathing into the belly, letting the diaphragm send those signals. When we breathe into our diaphragm and we massage those lower organs, those organs then speak through the vagus nerve. The whole system begins to communicate and lets everything in the body know that we're good. We can bring ourselves back into that sympathetic nervous system. We can calm, we can rest, we can digest. So it's really important to do these exercises to increase your vagal tone. Just by being here today, you're doing that. Socialization, as I said, singing, humming, chanting, the mantra, all of these things all assist our vagal tone, and definitely the breath, along with other dietary things that you can do at home. Definitely go more into that on your own if you want to explore the vagus nerve and increasing your vagal tone a little more. Essentially, when we increase that vagal tone through these techniques, through these moments of meditation, relaxation, breath, sound, voice, we are able to come back to equilibrium much faster. So of course, we're always going to have those moments of stress and anxiety and those moments of fear. But when we have the tools to be able to bring ourselves back to equilibrium, and when we're able to practice this more often, you can actually do it much faster. We're not a victim to our environment and our surroundings. We suddenly have the navigation tools to be able to bring ourselves back to center, back to being grounded, back to being relaxed. So we're going to try that bumblebee breath. We can kind of combine it, if you like, with the other breath. So first of all, letting go on the exhale. And just taking a nice full deep breath, bringing it into the belly, feeling that rib cage expand. And the exhale is going to be just a hum. Extend it as long as you can. So just doing it on your own, taking a nice deep inhalation, filling up as much as you can. You can hold that energy for a moment if you like, and then on the exhale, we're just going to add to that. If you just take your thumbs, place them into your ears, and you're going to do the same thing. So just bringing a nice deep inhalation, feeling your whole midsection, allowing the ribcage expands out to the sides until you cannot anymore. And when you're ready, and as you do that hum, just really go inward. You can even bring your focus to that third eye point, softening that space above and between the brows. And it's hard for me to hear up here, but the sound is important. So make sure you're making that sound. You can even use the sound Om in your hum if that helps you. So nice deep inhalation. That's it. That's the bumblebee breath, since I can't pronounce it properly. Brahmari Pranayam. So again, guys, just remembering in any moment you can use your breath to bring yourselves back to that equilibrium. So really working with that, it's the tool, the one tool. Well, there's many, but it is that tool that we have with us all the time, regardless of where we are and who we're with. So just remembering that at any time, letting out the big exhale. And it is really key in the breath to establish a diaphragmatic breath, a really huge contributor to all of the anxiety and the fear and the worry and that kind of state that we all tend to be in a loop in societally. we are kind of held in that sympathetic nervous system a lot of the time. It can almost be an addiction in a way where it's really hard for us to come back to equilibrium. Our baseline is meant to be the parasympathetic nervous system. There are moments where that sympathetic nervous system kicks in. You know, there's extreme moments where possibly we are in real danger, or maybe we really do need to like have that extra adrenaline to get some things done or get there. But really, our baseline is not that. The depression and the anxiety and all of those things that kind of layer on, these come from not being able to come back to our own inner balance and our own center and our own groundedness. So just really working with your breath is a foundation for all these other beautiful tools. Without that diaphragmatic breath, we cannot possibly relax. It's almost anatomically impossible. So hopefully just taking that with you today. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. I'm going to hand it over to CJ. I think we're going to do a death meditation. He'll let you know what that looks like, but you can go ahead and use those breath tools throughout the process should you need them. Might be helpful.
Hello. Loving all this good wisdom. For those that don't know me, my name is CJ. Hello. Thanks for being here, making this possible. Thanks to Dr. Lori, her partner, my sister. They made this church together. And I'm actually here doing this meditation on behalf of my sister who couldn't be here today. And happy to have Pavana, my partner, here playing some music, and very beautiful. And a lot of things that we're learning in terms of the breath and the practical breaths that we can use to face fears in life. What I have found in my adventures, facing a lot of fears and surfing some giant waves and facing death and going through that fear not long ago within the year, I've been really grateful as well to have a lot of these strategies, tools to regulate, these different traumas that we find in life. And it really does seem to be that the ultimate fear trauma is death for a lot of different reasons. And we're going to explore that here in this meditation. So I invite you. One of my favorite healers, a brother, a real wise guy, he says that the greatest healers are the fire and death. It's like if you have any problems, you throw it in the fire, it's done, taken care of, no more problem. If you have problems, you have aches and pains, anything, you die, it's all done. All your problems go away. So honoring that, this impermanence, all that. And we have the fire here. So it's a nice magical moment to journey all together and face our own death that we will all face at one point. And we're all preparing for that moment. So grateful to be preparing together here now. And remember the tools that you have as we go on our journey here. This meditation gets you focusing with diamond sharp clarity on what matters. Because all facades, delusions, judgments, and life-sucking trivia pale when you face your impending death. Your life is like a huge tree with many different colored leaves. Each leaf of the tree must eventually fall and die, turning into compost to feed the roots of this great tree of life. The death meditation is an opportunity to check out what's hanging on to your tree of life. Are there a few things that are ready to die and become compost to feed your tree? Or are they still sucking aliveness from it? Death must occur to make room for the new leaves and flowers. We have to be willing to let the part within us that needs to die go through that same cycle. It's all about shattering and reforming, shattering and reforming. We have to make room to grow. Otherwise, all that stuff just accumulates and we get backed up with psychic constipation. Whatever it is that drags and dims your life force has to die. Whatever you cannot transform, you must either form a new relationship with or shed. That's the bottom line. Evolve or die. The death meditation will bring you face to face with what you need to let go and how you need to move ahead. What needs to fall away so you can fulfill your life's purpose? If you let yourself embrace the process, which is a kind of vision quest, the search for a new way to live your life, you'll walk in a different way afterward, and you can begin to build a support system for the new way you choose to live. It'll be easier for you to let stuff go when you know what you're here for. You're not going to want to waste your life force on meaningless things. So now it's time for your useless, negative, down-level leaves to die. Today, at this very moment, I'm going to guide you through your own death meditation as you experience your last day on Earth. Together, we'll count down the hours, the minutes, the seconds, your final precious moments on Earth. As your life force dims, you'll ponder important questions you may have avoided your entire life. The most important tool is to breathe deeply and take the time to absorb what it means and to allow yourself to react to it. We just work to open our bodies. Whatever comes up for you here, take note. You might have a physical reaction, a shaking, a trembling, a deep chill, numbness. Take note on how your body feels. If a big emotional thing comes up, take the time to experience it. Tears, fear, shame, confusion. Don't just shut down with it. There's no clock ticking here. Move at your own pace. What you take note of will be there for you to reflect on later, so stay in each moment. Keep breathing and remain compassionate toward yourself. This is hard, brave work you're doing. The more you put into this, the more you'll get out of it. If you sit and resist, you'll just get uncomfortable, frustrated, and mad, and that's a waste of time. Go for this 100%, and you'll get a lot out of it. I'm asking you to be willing to let go of absolutely everything and surrender to the process. We just got our cores open and spacious, breathing. Feel your breath moving through your lungs. Feel your heart beating. Feel your blood moving through your veins, these rivers of life moving through you. Now consider, if you knew that in 12 hours you would be dead, what would you do now for these last 12 hours of your life? Without a doubt, no matter what you did, run away, kick and scream, curse me or the heavens, it wouldn't matter because you'd still be dead before morning. No escape. Get a feel for that. This is your last little bit of life. You won't even get to see another sunrise. Breathe that in. Feel the truth of that. All the plans, all the things you were waiting to do in the future, they're gone. Maybe you were planning on becoming a teacher or a pilot or a lawyer or a humanitarian. Maybe you wanted a mate or children. Maybe you were finally healed enough you were going to allow yourself to love. But now it's too late for all of that. Feel that. In the midst of that feeling, taste how precious each moment now becomes because you have so few of them left. Take a very deep breath and savor it fully. This is one of your last breaths. Get ready to ask yourself some questions. Feel the death of your hopes and dreams. Everything you were getting ready for is never going to happen now. as you sit here feeling that death, that loss, what are your regrets? All the ways you were going to live your life, all the dreams you were waiting to live. What were the promises that you made to yourself or your loved ones that you can no longer keep because your time is over? Perhaps you told yourself you'd start caring for yourself in a kind and sane way someday in the future. Well, now you don't have a future. Let yourself fully feel your loss. Feel the regrets. Think about all the feelings you normally keep shut away because you have to function. There's nothing left to function for anymore. Be brave enough to feel fully now without any guard, because these are the last few feelings you get to have. Take another deep breath, feeling the regrets, the loss. Feel just how precious your life is. Now you only have 11 hours and 50 minutes left to live. What are your unfinished communications? What did you want to say or write to your loved ones? To the people who touched your heart or who broke it? What are the communications you need to complete before you die? To those who hurt you, those you hate, those you love. Write down everything you wished you could say to those people. Be 100% honest. Stay connected to your breath, to the reality of your death coming closer. As you feel your impending death looming over you, ask yourself, what am I still withholding? What's behind my inhibitions? Am I waiting for the right time to feel fully or express myself fully? Why? Think about all the rules that have kept you inhibited from doing what your spirit yearns for. And now it's too late. Your time is up. Take note of what you are holding back. And as you feel your impending death coming closer, feel that coolness of death coming closer. Realize that there is really no escape from your death. Take a breath and allow yourself to savor the pain, because it means you are still alive. As you're feeling the dread coolness of death, ask yourself, what am I still imprisoned by? Take note as you honestly answer yourself. Take a deep breath. Savor that your lungs and your heart still work. Feel, for maybe the first time, how your breath sparkles through you. Something you maybe never took the time to notice before. Feel just how precious each breath of life is. And as you feel your death begin to strip away your delusions of immortality and comfortable numbness, ask, what have I been lying to myself about? What are all the ways I've sabotaged myself? As your death strips away the lies, can I finally be completely honest with myself for these last few hours of my life? Check in. See if one of your lies is about how you need your lies. What can you finally be honest with yourself about? Take note of what you've been lying to yourself about. and all the ways that you may have sabotaged yourself. If not now, you don't have any other when. Now is all you have. As you feel your death touch and chill your skin, can you finally recognize what you have in your life that should have died long ago? Recall the dead leaves of the tree that need to fall off and turn to compost to feed its roots. What in your life needs to break off and die in order for you to live freely? An eating disorder, abuse, your illness, your pain, a bad relationship, addictions, self-worth issues. Which things have been eating your life force like a parasite? Are you going to continue to feed these parasitic energies up until your last breath? What in your life needs to break off and die so you can live freely for your last few hours? Take note. What is no longer serving your highest self? Feel death coming closer, coming right up to your face. Feel that coolness of death permeating your skin, chilling it bone deep, slowing your blood and organs. Feel this unstoppable presence of death coming into you. Take another breath. It's one of your last. Treasure it. As the cold invades your extremities, feel that loss of sensitivity in your fingers and toes, your hands and feet as your life force fades. Now, what do you say to your loved ones, knowing that you are not going to see them after sunrise? What are you going to say to them? Take note of those words now. Take another breath. The air is getting heavier and it's harder to pull into your lungs. The oxygen isn't moving much. Take a breath while you still can. Feel death seeping through your core, slowing your blood and heart, turning your lungs flaccid and increasingly useless. What could you do to prepare for death in these last few hours? What steps could you take to have a death with integrity, a noble death? If you can't have a life, what will you do in these few remaining hours to at least have a death that you can be proud of? Take note. Now, your adrenal glands are pumping frantically. You feel your heart. It's actually starting to beat faster. It's racing desperately, beating faster like a trapped bird as death closes in on you. Your vision starts to darken as you grow even colder. Has it become clear to you, finally, what you really love? As death strips away your veils, what matters most to you? What matters the most to you? Take note. Feel your heart abandon its frantic efforts, slowing once more, struggling to beat. Feel death fill every last cell and permeate your brain, extinguishing your final thoughts on earth. Feel death come over your heart, and your heart stops. At this moment, when your vital forces are stopped, Can you make a choice? Can you make a warrior's choice to choose the life you most deeply desire? Make that choice. Feel death's power. Now use the power of your inevitable death to drag out all that you are ready to let die. Feel this death's cold fingers dragging and scraping all your scar tissue, pain, betrayal, and debris out of you. Through your lungs, heart, back, hips. Feel the rest of your death moving through you, pulling with it the remaining garbage that needs to turn into compost. Let death take out what you are ready to be free of. Visualize it leaving your body and your spirit. Now, draw in a fresh breath, a breath that sparkles. The first after your return from death. And use it to breathe out all of the negative thinking that fed that debris. Everything that kept you from living the life that you want, that you desire, that is what your spirit yearns for. Breathe it out. Now take another breath. Fill those places that so desperately want to live with this new life force. Put breath in there. Know that death is your ally. Breathe out your death. Breathe in this new life force. Sparkle up. Breathe that new life back into your heart. Breathe that new life back into your lungs. Breathe that new life back into your blood and get it moving again. Feel your body slowly warming from your core outward, radiating into your arms and legs, life-giving blood warming you down to your fingers and toes. Feel yourself moving in the direction of what quickens your blood, living your life as spirit desires, living the life that quickens your blood. What are the dreams that you are willing to invest your life force in now? Take note. Keep breathing as you envision the dreams so that you add to the aliveness of your breath, to your purpose, your vision and dreams, knowing that they're worthy of your life force. Know the truth of this. You don't know when death will visit you again. You don't have a moment to waste anymore. Take another breath. Now that you know what really matters to you, can you live it? Keeping your realizations of this death meditation close to you. What reminders do you need to keep steady with yourself when addictions and old behaviors call to you? What are you going to do to honor your new life, this life that is so precious? Take note of some reminders that will keep you aligned with the purpose you've just committed to fulfilling. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath, washing that sparkling energy of your spirit into those areas that death cleansed out. Exhaling deeply, welcome your spirit home into your body fully. You have a tremendous amount of heart and courage. Use it to move past whatever held you back and imprisoned you. Commit yourself to living the life your spirit yearns for. Take this new commitment into your next sunrise and every sunrise. The notes that you've noticed taken during this death meditation can be the blueprint for your new life. Keep them close to your heart and check in often. They will help you to live the life your heart and soul most desire. And in doing so, you will be a gift to the world. You have met what is sacred in you. You have moved out what is not. And just gently cracking your eyes open to this new life with new vision. Good to look around and notice two things that you had not noticed before. And then touch two different surfaces with your hands. Just feel two different surfaces. Listen for two different sounds. It was a long journey. Thank you for going there with me. Hope that everybody came back with at least a nugget, at least one piece that you can hold on to and apply breath and life force to help you along the way. Yeah, thanks for that. And we'll be transitioning here. I am not sure what's next. Corey, are you coming up? Beautiful. The birthday girl dressed in flowers is going to come share her wisdom. Thank you so much. Thanks, Corey.
I'm loving the Oprah style chair up here. Very, very comfortable. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? You're back in new bodies. Chee! Thank you, Dr. Lori and Nicole, who's not here, and everybody who comes and supports Vital Living and makes this time and space consistent and open to anybody who wants to learn anything. Okay, so there's so much going on with this concept of fear and death, and so many places we could go. So let's all take a few breaths together and see what comes. Not that we haven't been already breathing together. But let's take one deep breath in. Fill those lungs as much as you can. Pack that breath in. And then exhale like you're going to whistle, but silently whistle. Go ahead and do that again. Deep breath in. Pack that life-giving forces into those beautiful lungs. And then silently whistle as you exhale out. So I'm curious what you guys think is the opposite of fear. Yeah. Who knew we'd get it on the first one? Unconditional love. When we're in love, we're in flow. And when we're in fear, we're in constriction. And so anything that we can do to allow for more flow is going to be helpful. From an Ayurvedic perspective, when we're in a state of fear, there's an excess of the Vata dosha, the ether and air elements. And we often think of these elements as being the two elements that really don't have a container. They're not very heavy. There's not anything holding them in on either side. That we have to do that through our own living, our own lifestyle. So we create a container through our routines. And we've talked so much about routines. We've even practiced oil pulling and all kinds of things together. But just finding ways that you can create routine for yourself so that your body and your energies can ground each day will help you to be more in flow and less in constriction and less in fear. And being open to possibilities, being open to other people, open to new ideas, just open to whatever comes is going to help you be in flow. We're going to die. And I know that's the biggest fear that we all have to face. And I think one of the ways that we can start to break those fears is to break the divide between the very young and the very old. that there are conversations that need to be had in those arenas, getting small children together with our elderly populations so that we bring people together, so that we bring stories together, so that we bring teachings together, and that we learn from each other things that we need to remember about being young, things that we need to look forward to as we get old, lessons or tips, things like that, right? And as we're in a different sort of way of living, we're not, multi generations living in one house anymore. Many of us are living by ourselves or just with a partner, and that's kind of isolating. So just getting back into communities where you can have those conversations. I have my father here today. He's visiting for my birthday. I'm saying it's for my birthday, but maybe he was coming anyways. And just listening to him and experiencing his life and his journey. And he hasn't maybe noticed because I haven't brought this up, but he's taken care of so many people making that transition. His aunt, his father, friends. He does it for his friends. And he drops little jewels of wisdom. And I think the other day he did this on purpose, but he was saying that the time of his life that he was most vibrant and had the best time, he didn't say it was 26 because I'm 46. So he wasn't making me look back. He was like, it's 50. 50 is the year. So he's secretly like, keep looking forward. Keep looking forward. And I think in that way, we start to break down the fears that we have about the transition that we're going to make, because we were never really born. So we're never really going to die. We're all just energy, and we're going to transform from this energy, this amalgamation of elements, into another amalgamation of elements. And so anything that we can do in our day, like this beautiful death meditation or yoga, just practicing Shavasana, helps you to get into that state of mind, and knowing that when you get to that transition, you want to be as clear as possible, and using your breath to help you be clear so that you exit out the right direction, so that you are calm, so that your nervous system is calm and not in a state of fear. Pavana also brought to the table that we're energy. And so one of the things I wanted to remind us about today is the fact that we're energy, and I want us all to feel our energy. So I brought some handouts for you, but I'm going to guide you through a little exercise first. And it's just a exercise to develop your own sensitivity to our own magnetic energies. We all have the ability to heal through touch. You do it all day long. You're doing it right now. She's got maybe a shoulder that's a little tense, and she's touching her shoulder. When you touch, your marma point in your palm is connected to the marma point in your hand. It's an intuitive healing. I think we have talked about this before. I have a headache. Oh, my head hurts. You're sending heart energy right to that place of pain. And so I want to help us really connect with that energy. So sit up nice and tall so that your spine is clear, or it allows for energy to flow through. And just start as Pavana started us. And we're just going to rub the hands together and start to create a little bit of friction between the palms, a little bit of heat. It doesn't have to be really, really hot or really, really fast. You're just starting to bring your awareness there. So as you do this, close your eyes, listen to me, and listen to that sound being created between the palms as you breathe deeply. I'm going to ask that we all clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep rubbing. Just 1. Again, 1, 2, 3. Keep rubbing, keep rubbing, keep rubbing. Good. Again, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Good. Stop. And from here, I want you to take a deep breath in. And as you inhale, let your hands and fingers part just a tiny, tiny bit. And I want you to place all of your attention and all of your awareness in the space between your hands. Feel every finger pad. Feel every line. Feel every lifetime. Maybe you feel heat. Maybe you feel tingling. Maybe it feels a little mushy in there. As you hold this ball of energy, start to pull your hands apart and together with the breath, and not in very much space, not more than a couple of inches. Inhale, the hands move apart. And as you exhale, the hands come back together. Just become aware that you're moving back and forth a substance between the palms. Good. And then sort of make a pointer finger with your right hand and draw circles on the palm of your left hand. Really slow, with your mind and awareness still in this space. And see if you can feel the line of energy that you're drawing with one finger on the palm. Maybe you even feel tingling going up into the fingers as your pointer finger passes by, or down into the wrist. Good, and then bring the palms back together. Squish and move that substance around. And then make a pointer finger with your left hand and draw circles on the right palm. And starting to become aware which palm seems to have a little bit more sensitivity, or maybe one finger has a little bit more energy. Good, and then again, bring the palms back together and take a few breaths, just moving this substance back and forth with the breath. Good, and then you can even rotate the hands around each other so that you can feel that energy pass over the dorsum or the back of the hand. Good, and then bring that energy right in close to your heart. And as you breathe, I want you to let this energy start to expand. As much as it will, as much as it wants, be mindful of your neighbors. With each breath, this big ball of energy is getting bigger and brighter. Keep breathing, keep expanding. You are this energy. Now, as you hold this ball of expanded energy between your hands and in front of your heart, I want you to think or let come to your mind a part of you that needs a little extra attention, a part of you that maybe is holding some fear or holding some constriction. Maybe it's your lungs, maybe it's your heart, maybe it's your kidneys, maybe your knees been bothering you, maybe your eyes need a little attention. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to bring your hands right to that part. And see if you can still feel the energy that you've just moved from an outer space into your inner being, affecting your cells, your tissues, your glands, your organs, all of your systems being affected by this energy. That's creating space so that all of those healing nutrients can flow and reach all of the tissue. Good, one more time. Let's bring those hands back together. Rub them again. Rub, rub, rub. Good, and this time just hold the fingertips together. Feel that ball of energy expanding and building in between the palms. Good, inhale, take a little breath, let the fingertips pull apart. Continue to breathe and expand this ball of energy. Maybe play with it a little bit, make sure it's there. It's a little mushy, kind of like a slinky moving back and forth. You can stretch it out. Good, and then hold it steady. Let it expand for a few breaths. And think of someone you know, maybe somebody in this community today, in this Sangha, that could use a little healing touch. And they don't even have to be here. All you have to do is bring their essence, their joy, what about them makes you smile, bring that to your mind. And then send this love in their direction, send this energy in their direction. Turn your palms to face them wherever they are, up, down, north, east, south, or west. And then bring your hands back together. Do a little snapping. Let your eyes open if they're closed. That helps to clear any energy, any yuck, any sticky stuff we picked up. Good. You guys have all the tools you need to not be afraid of anything ever. With your breath, with your own touch, with your ability to be open and expanded and jump off the cliff and jump into the universe's arms, she will catch you. And know that you're only going to change form. And that breath that CJ mentioned at the end, from moving out of the body, can feel like it's going to be scary. And not that I've been there and I'm back here to tell you my experience. Just that we expand into joy when we make that transition. And it's not a place or space we have to fear. We just have to practice getting nearer and nearer to that space. So it's more available to us. That's it. That's my share. Thank you.
Wow. Let's just stand up for a second. We've been sitting for a little while. And I just want you to ground your two. Oh, I won't stand. I'll just sit for now. Just ground your 2 feet on the ground. I'll stand. Parallel. Shoulder width apart. Center of your heel, touching the center of the earth. Just feeling connection. Less recently. And just pressing, feeling more alive, more connected, really empowered and strong. And then you can keep closing your eyes for a second. A lot of closing eyes today because I don't want anyone to feel self-conscious. Just do that shaking thing we've done before. Just shake. Shake your whole body. Let it loose, let it flow, let your energy move, let it be wild. We've done a lot of domestication in this world, so let your energy just be a little wild. There's no attachment to rhyme or reason or what you need to do or some kind of instruction. Just maybe your tongue wants to stick out, maybe you want to go sideways. I don't know. Just let it go. Let it go. And let your breath do that as well. Just do that as well. Yeah. If you notice you're doing some kind of rhythm, maybe just change up the rhythm a little bit. Maybe do an ankle or do an arm or do something else. Take some big breaths. Feel like you're moving. However it feels right. And then when you're ready, you can sit down and we'll complete our little gathering here. Wonderful. I think the fire is still going, so we can make sure it's still okay. Very good. Wow. I feel so blessed that there's these amazing people to share such beautiful processes here, breathing and meditation and music, so much. I was just wondering, first of all, we ask for people, if anyone has something they really feel they're called to share, maybe something about fear, or maybe something that's just been triggered, or maybe there's a fear you want to say it out loud, or you want to, because in a little bit we're going to just write, there's some paper there, and if you want to go ahead, you can grab paper anytime if you feel like you're going to forget your fear. And you can write it down, tear a little strip of paper off, and there's pens and pencils, and if you feel called to, everything is what grabs you, what makes you feel. And then if you feel like to, you can say it out loud, or you can just toss it into the fire, or do whatever feels right on that level to move that fear a little bit, because again, we're talking about how to be courageous, right? And courage, courage is really about feeling. And today we've been going through a lot of this feeling stuff. And how does it feel to go through that death meditation? And how does it feel to actually really watch your energy and how powerful you are, to be able to feel that energy in your own hands and be able to translate it to people and yourself and to the world and across the globe. I mean, wherever we are, it can move so far and so quickly. That I don't know if there's anyone, I just wanted to open it up. If someone feels called to come up and say something, really, this is about community. And if there's anyone that wants to share, or as I'm talking, if you just give me a little signal and just please come up. So don't be shy. Okay. And so I was we have last time, I think there was a few times that Marsha, our good friend, read some amazing poems. So I have never read this poem except for I think just actually one place. It was actually at my father's funeral. I think I told this group when my mother was dying. Did I talk about my death story for holding my mom's head? Raise a hand. No, different group. Okay. Really? Okay, you get to hear two stories. I hope it's okay. You can always just like say, okay, enough. So I've had about the amazing honor of attending or being a part of like over 3,000 births. And so that's a lot of babies, and that's a lot of energy coming into this world. I feel so honored and privileged to be able to do that. And a handful of deaths, actually, as well. And so I have had this amazing opportunity to stand on this place. And when my mother passed away, she had cancer, and she looked really, old, and it was hard on her. And she was actually unconscious in our house. Are you sure I didn't tell you this story? Okay, I don't want to repeat myself. Okay, so when she was actually in the bed, and we were all around her. It was a Sunday, and she was unconscious, and I was supposed to do something with some friends, but I have that feeling, right? You have that feeling that comes over you sometimes. And I said to my friends, I'm not going to go out with you today. I'm just going to be here in the house. I just need to be with my mom. And they said, she's unconscious. You never know. You got to come out and live your life. I said, I do. I'm going to live my life, but I really need to be with my mom today. So I went into her room where she was, and I held her head, just called to her. And then my sister came in and held her arm, her hand, and my father came in and held her other hand. And then her parents, because they were still alive, actually came in. She died at 57, so she was really young. And they came in and they stood at her feet. And then she had one grandson at that time, and he came in and stood at her other foot, actually. And at that moment, when everyone was in the room, she actually took her last breath. And I was holding her hand, I was holding her head, and I had the amazing feeling of seeing her or feeling her lift off and gripping my hand, and with this power. And I've seen in all those movies that they can come back, right? They go and then they come back and they're like, okay. So I said, Mom, I got your hand. If you need to come, this is not your time. Come on back. You've got my hand. And she looked really beautiful. I don't know. She was white, just light. She was just light. That's what I could remember. And there was some kind of flurry of pages, or some kind of flurry of something that was like bright and gold or something bright. And then she said, oh no, I'm ready. And there was this moment, right at that moment when she said that I felt like I was on this bridge. And I was like, this bridge is so familiar. And at that point, I'd probably only done a couple thousand births, but I was like, this bridge is so familiar. I feel like I've stood on this for thousands of times. And I realized that it was the same bridge that I stand on when babies come into the world. And she's going out and they're going in. And it was like this bridge and I'm so happy and honored when babies come into the world. And I'm so happy to be there at that moment that they become present in this place. And I felt the same thing that was happening to my mother. And it was just most amazing. And I popped back in to my body, and I said, Mom's gone and she's okay. And she told me to do a eulogy. And my dad's like, oh my gosh, you're never going to make it through the first sentence. You can't do it. And everyone. And I didn't really want to do a eulogy, but I was just called to do it. And I actually didn't know what I was going to say until the day before her funeral. And I was like kind of panicking. And I was like, okay, I'm supposed to say her eulogy. And I knew things about her life, but I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say that's meaningful? And then this is a true story, folks. I got an envelope in the mail. I got a card in the mail. It was addressed to me. There was no return address. And honestly, it kind of looked like her handwriting, but it was just, I opened the card, and it was a card in there with a butterfly, and it just had a simple poem. And the poem was very short, and it said, a butterfly lighted gently upon me, and for a moment, its beauty and its splendor were a part of my world. And then it flew on. And although I wish it could have stayed, I was just so happy to have seen it. And at that moment, I knew everything I had to say for my mother's eulogy. And I said to these, and there was so many people. There was literally like, oh my gosh, 600. There was so many, because she was young and she had so many people that loved her. And, I said, life is short. we don't know. It could be long, could be like really long, and it could be really short. Like CJ said, you never know. You don't know. This is the moment you're alive and you're here. It's the moment to really live. And she lived her life and she lived it fully. And she was said, and we got to appreciate it. And at that moment, I really felt like, that's what living vitally is all about. That's what vital living is to live every day, right? And every moment. Like it's so precious. And I was able to get through the eulogy, actually. And actually, I was able to get through the story now because now it's been a number of years. But I really feel, that it's been I've been so honored to be able to be there at birth and death and at the process in between and learning myself how to stay mindfully courageous over that whole process when fear kind of grips you. And my dear friend did a writing workshop recently, Marsha, and she said that, there's tools you got to have because this life is kind of fearful sometimes. And so she gave me 3 C's, and I thought it was really, really simple. And I always like to give little tidbits of things so you can have take homes as well as stories and things to remember and little burnt fires and things. The 3 C's are really simple. The first one is courage. So that's why I think about it, courage. And her definition of courage was actually the ability or the willingness to feel everything, the wild range of emotions, to be wildly alive, not be like, I'm going to be picky. I'm just going to feel some things. Courageous is to feel it all. And then the second C is commitment. And she said commitment, her definition of commitment was kind of different than I would think sometimes. But she said, you have to admit that there's a process. To admit that there's a process, that it's not just moments in time, that you go through a process and it continues and you stay with it no matter what. And that leads us to our third one. So it's courageous, commitment. And now the third one was companionship. And at first, when I heard that, I also thought, companionship like friend or family or people or things. And what she said companionship was remaining loyal to yourself no matter what. And I thought about that, like, when people decide on home births or when people decide on doing some wild things in their life and everyone's like, no, don't do that, it's too dangerous, or no, don't go there because there's lots of things, bad things happening, or no, whatever it is, putting those fears in you, and you have that feeling like, no, I really feel like that's right for me, or I really feel like that's my truth. Well, it's remaining loyal to yourself no matter what. And that's companionship. You're being your best own companion. And those are some 3 little tidbits I'd like to leave you with. And when you're thinking about your fears, or if anyone has anything they want to share, I don't know, these are the wonderful faces. You can just stand up and raise a hand. You're welcome to, if you have other people that like right now that are going through some fears, and you can text them if you want, or you can just put that in for them, or your willingness to help them let go of that, or help them find mindful courage or some commitment or some companionship to that, and just be aware. There's some papers over there. And you can just rip them, and there's pens and pencils, and we'll just give you some moment to do that after that. And then we're going to have a little birth something celebration, maybe. We'll talk about that in a second. And to end my little time here, I thought I would also read you that little poem from my father, because I also read this at his funeral. So I'm a little orphan. So I went to my mom's funeral at 57, and my father passed away quite a bit later, but he also had many, many people at his funeral, and I was called to read this poem to him for him. And I will just read it now, if I can. Life, returning to its source, takes nothing of what it has illuminated. To embrace the mysteries of death, we open our hearts to life. The journey of a lotus opening. We become the ocean depths, the mountain peaks, the brilliant rainbow, the gentle sunset. Now you can feel me everywhere. Do you hear me whispering in the wind, or in the chickens cackling? Or see my rascal smile in a passing cloud? I have not left you. Where would I go? I have simply melted like a candle into another form. Stretch your hearts and let us celebrate together the freedom and peace of this new journey, no longer burdened by tasks undone or grasping at stresses to mend. And yet today, if you need, watch the rain on the window, miss our tender times, then gather your strength. Know my breath is free from its restless tides. Relax and do not be afraid. Love has forged us from the same stone, and clearly we are one. And to be fearless is to be tender-hearted. So I leave you with that moment of tender-heartedness to look at your fears and write them down if you feel to, and throw them in the fire and let them go and be at peace and live vitally alive every moment of your life. Deep mahalo to you all.